Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. So, as you know, Game 6 of the NBA Finals is today. Game is back in Boston. Series is up on the Golden State side, 3-2. And we've talked a lot about this particular matchup already. Of course, I made a video yesterday just kind of giving a few extra thoughts on what I'm expecting to see and ultimately a few other things. You can go check that out. But today we're going to focus in on my idea of what this game is going to be about, because this is the game for all the marbles here for the Golden State Warriors on the road. And the one thing that we have to really figure out, I think Ime Udoka is going to have to basically guess right. He's got to guess right. Clay. Game 6 Clay. Much has been said, much has been understood. We have seen many times Klay Thompson go completely off in Game 6. We know it's a psychological boost for him. He expects to play well in a Game 6. He expects to close you out in a Game 6. He expects to win the championship in a Game 6. And he struggled greatly in these series, but his trajectory is headed upwards as he has played a little bit better every single game this series. Yeah, last game he played better. I thought he played probably one of his best overall games. Did some things down the stretch, got off to a better start, which is something he's consistently not done. Had a bad start throughout the entire playoffs, basically, but usually ends up helping his team in the end. Tonight, he's coming in with a lot of confidence, and I don't think a couple missed shots is going to waver that confidence at all. He's going to be in a mindset that is going to have to be paid attention to, but if you guess wrong, and you focus all your defense on the wrong thing tonight, it could be the end for the Celtics. And that's the problem with tonight's game, is the overall psychological wars and the different things that they're going to have to figure out and guess right about in regards to this game. It's too much pointing against the Celtics tonight, unfortunately. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's a lot pointing against them. And the reason why I say this is this. The two games that the Celtics won were the two anomaly games in this series. We didn't really look at it like that throughout the course of things, but now that we get a chance to zoom out through 5 games, the only games they won were the games where weird things happened. Really weird things. Game 1, Jason Tatum had 13 assists, couldn't throw a rock in the entire ocean. And they were still able somehow to muck it up and get an early victory in this series. The other game they won, Steve Kerr decided he didn't want any rim protection on the floor. Like, literally. He decided he did not want to play any bigs other than Draymond Green, and because of it, he left himself looking like the Lakers out there. So, naturally, Time Lord was able to dominate in the paint, take Golden State completely out of the paint entirely on both sides of the floor. And, the Celtics were able to get fantastic play out of each one of their players. I believe that's how that went. I hope I got this right, but it was one game where 3 players went completely off, and then Time Lord went completely off as well. And if I'm not mistaken, that was, in fact, Game 4. Or Game 3, rather, when they won. They've lost 2 straight since then. But the games where things go traditionally, the Celtics lose. That's basically what I'm here to say. If a weird anomaly in the stats isn't taking place to where they don't have rim protection on the floor for the Golden State Warriors, or some weird thing where Jason Tatum's going off for 13 assists, that's the only way the Celtics have won these games. It's the only way. When the Golden State Warriors just buckled down and played their regular game, they've won in this series. Here's the thing about the Golden State Warriors in the last game. I mentioned this and I'll mention it now. They've done entirely too much fouling. Entirely too much fouling in this series. They fouled a lot in the last game, and I do think that, it's going to be a situation where, as you understand, there's still a game to play and then maybe a game after that. So the discipline of the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics in regards to dealing with the officials is going to be key. In fact, it may be pivotal. We talked about a great deal about the Boston Celtics missing 10 free throws in the last game. They lost by 10, they missed 10 free throws. Obviously, that's going to haunt them. That's the type of psychological thing that's working against the Celtics as well. You understand they've struggled 2 games straight, to my memory, maybe even more, from the line. That is a big, huge problem. Let's see, what else are we talking about? Fourth quarter woes for this Boston Celtics after having a fantastic fourth quarter in the game that they won, Game 3. They've had some struggling fourth quarters with their stars, and that's to be understood. Guys have been playing a lot of 7-game series, 2 7-game series, a lot of battles. They've shrunk their bench down to 7 or 8 players. The guys are tired, and I think that's really also another thing the Celtics have working against them is fatigue. Al Horford has disappeared in this series. Derek White's been inconsistent. Everybody on this team for the Celtics has been inconsistent. You have to give credit to the Golden State Warriors' strategy and defense. And, again, you got to give credit to Steve Kerr for using more of his bench than MA did. He just gave himself a bit more rest amongst the most of his players, and they're already deeper to begin with. So that also works against this Boston Celtics team tonight. I picked this series to go 7, Golden State's way, which means Golden State would have to lose tonight. And the reason why I'm still kind of just open to that being a possibility as well is because I've seen the Golden State Warriors have games like this in these playoffs twice, 2 series in a row, where not only did they not close this series out, but they got blown out in those games. That's this year with this team in this situation. That's what they did. They did not show up against it's been so many playoff games, I forget who all they've played against. But they had a chance to close out Memphis for sure on Memphis's home court, and Memphis knocked them off by like 50 points. It was the most disruptive type of situation in terms of trying to move on in the playoffs that you could possibly imagine. They thought they were going to get a good, easy win in Memphis for some reason to close that team out, and that team did not even budge. And the same thing happened in the next series with Dallas. They had an opportunity to close Dallas out. Got Dallas down 0-3, and they just did not close them out. They let Dallas get a very nice lead and get a comfortable, easy win against them in a game where they should have closed them out. The Boston Celtics are better than the Dallas Mavericks. Boston Celtics probably better than Memphis Grizzlies, although I can honestly say the Memphis Grizzlies have an interesting matchup with the Celtics if they were to see one another. Either way, I think the Celtics have a great chance of capitalizing on what is a bad tendency for the Golden State Warriors to just not close teams out when they have an opportunity to, particularly on the road. So, given the fact the Boston Celtics haven't lost 3 games in a row, probably not at all this season. Not since they made the Derek White trade, probably. Not in these playoffs at all for certain. That also works in the Boston Celtics' favor if you're looking at things that you're just paying attention to. But all of that stuff is not necessarily what's going to take place in between the lines. None of that necessarily has anything to do with what you're going to see tonight. It's one game. And I don't think that anybody's thinking about yesterday's game or anybody's anticipating Sunday's game at all as it pertains to Game 6. Because at the end of the day, it's just about what you do from quarter to quarter to quarter. And honestly, we've talked a lot about rebounding and how important it is for the Boston Celtics to control the boards if they want to beat the Golden State Warriors. They won the rebounding total by a substantial amount and still lost in that last game. Steph Curry didn't hit a 3-point shot in Game 5. First time that's probably ever happened, like literally ever. A lot of things did not work out for the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum was hot through 3 quarters. They couldn't take advantage. Psychological stuff, I'm telling you. That's what I'm trying to express here. It's just a lot of things. Time Lords talked about his injury. That knee needs surgery. He's playing on a knee he literally should not be playing on at all. Like these things, it's just, at what point do you say we've just run out of gas? We've just run out of gas. They're a young team, but they've shrunk their bench too much, man. I can't stress that enough. You needed more Tice, more Pritchard in this series to give Al Horford a little more of a breather so he wouldn't be out of gas by now. To give Time Lord more of a breather so he wouldn't be out of gas right now. I just feel like guys are out of gas. Now, granted, this is a Game 6 in their house, so they're going to have their fans behind them and all of that. But the most important thing, in my opinion, is that the Boston Celtics get out to a good early start. They have to get out to a hot start in my mind. Because if they go down by 10 or 11 points to this Golden State Warriors team in a game like this, it's over. In my mind, I don't think you effectively overcome a slow start after all of that stuff that you also have to consider psychologically, and you're going up against a very sound defense and a very potent offense with legendary players who've done this for many, many times in a row, or many times rather over the years. So there's no reason to believe that the Golden State Warriors are going to lose the series necessarily. They have an opportunity to not play extra basketball, which I always task them not to do. But they always play with their food. This is who they are. So I'm expecting them to. That's exactly what I'm expecting them to do. The Golden State Warriors play with their food. Draymond Green has to play a certain level of efficient in order for this game to go well, in my opinion. He can't be bricking shots left and right. Now, the three-point shots, that don't matter. As long as he's attempting those, you're happy. But he has to continue to look to drive at the basket and connect on layups, and crashing the glass is so very important as well. Draymond Green is going to get assists. He's going to play defense, but he has to look to crash the glass. Kevon Looney, he needs to be out there tonight. You need to see a healthy dose of him. GP2, you need to see a healthy dose of him. Jordan Poole. All of these players must not have duds on the road. Because if you find yourself in a Game 7 situation, anything can happen. Anything can happen. COVID protocol could freaking happen in Game 7. Like literally. Commissioner's in there right now. All I'm saying is, you do not want to play extra basketball if you're the Golden State Warriors. You do not want to risk any weirdness taking place. Playing with your food is a tendency that they have, as we've said. Guys like Jordan Poole tend to play well at home, maybe not even show up on the road. That cannot be the case tonight. He needs to show up. Everybody they play needs to show up. Starting Otto Porter has been excellent. It's working. It gets them off to the right start. It makes their rotations make more sense defensively to start the games, and it helps the Golden State Warriors not let the Boston Celtics get off to these early quick starts, because he's down there defending in the way that he does, rebounding the way that he does. Obviously, they should continue to use him. Andrew Wiggins is the most important player, maybe on the Golden State Warriors over the last 2 games. Let's just talk about Andrew Wiggins. He's been crashing the glass in a very, very, very memorable way. Scoring the ball, 27 points, 13 rebounds. I said he had 11. He had 13, the final tally of that game. And then he had 16 in the previous game. That's 29 rebounds in 2 games, you guys. 29 rebounds in 2 games. Do I have my math right? Even if I don't, that's a lot of damn boards. Obviously, the Boston Celtics need to contain him. Obviously, paying attention to Steph Curry is the most important. But if you neglect Andrew Wiggins, don't think that he can't knock you off again tonight. Please don't think that. He definitely can. Now, his three-point shot has not fallen. I want him to scale it back from shooting that 3. I really do. If he's like 0 for 8 shooting a 3 tonight, I don't think Golden State wins the game. He can't be continuing to brick from behind the arc. But just about everything else that he's doing, A1, excellent. Rebounding, defense, legendary defense he's putting on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That must continue. That must continue. He can't take his foot off the gas at all against those guys. They are elite level scorers, and at some point in time, you do expect Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to get it going. Tonight should be the night that happens. Now, the defense is going to have a lot to say about that, of course, as we're speaking him. But, just to switch back to Boston, if they don't get a big game out of both of those players, they're going home. They're going home. It's that simple. They can't have a struggle night from them. They need to be looking to assist the ball. The Boston Celtics are a much better team when they have more than 20 assists. To say the least, 20 is too little. They need to have more than 25, 30 assists, to be honest with you, if they really want to do something. I believe it was game 1? I believe it was game 1. I don't know. I get the 2 confused, but one of the games they won, their 3 stars broke a record in regards to having a certain level of assists, rebounds, and points together with one another in the finals. I believe that was game 1. But they need to try to duplicate that. The best thing for them to do is Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Smart to all look to do all 3 of the major categories in each quarter. Hell, they should be looking to fill up the box score in each quarter, all 3 of them. All 3 of them. Because that's when they're at their best. Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown trying to go for triple-doubles. I kid you not. Rebound the ball, look for each other, be efficient, hit your free throws. And last but not least, the most important thing of all, more important than anything else in regards to the series, turnovers. Both teams must figure this issue out. Jaylen Brown's been turning the ball over like crazy. Jason Tatum's been turning the ball over like crazy. On the other side, you're seeing a lot of turnovers out of the Golden State Warriors as well. They just both are prone to turn the ball over. They're both prone to play excellent defense, so you know turnovers are going to happen. But the unforced ones, those are the ones that need not happen, especially for the Boston Celtics. As we know, 16 is the magic number. They had 19 in the last game. Only 9 of those were forced through steal. Boston needs to stop turning the ball over. Simple as that. And it starts with their stars. They have to stop that. And you get, 9? No, more than that. It's like 14. 14 total out of their 3 stars. That just can't win that way. Cannot win that way. So, the Golden State Warriors must establish the paint. They must. A healthy dose of scoring in the paint, offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding, and defensive, play in the paint as well. Paint domination is how the Boston Celtics won their last game. So if the Golden State Warriors don't want to find themselves on the wrong end of this one, they would be wise to assure that doesn't take place again. Robert Williams is a hell of a player, but he is playing injured. There should be no reason he dominates your paint the way he did in Game 3. Game 3. That was the game that all that stuff happened to. It was Game 3. That should not take place tonight. So, it's a lot of stuff that we can look at and say, I can predict one thing or another, but to be honest with you, this game is going to go as the players say it goes. This game is going to go as the officials officiate the game, and of course, keeping your poise is ever so important tonight for both teams. Draymond Green, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, everybody who's known for screaming at refs needs to reel that in tonight, and if there's a Game 7, most definitely then too. Just assume they're not going to call anything. Just like I said in the previous video. Then they may call everything. They may call nothing. They may be normal. The point is, if you have the mentality that they're not going to call nothing, you'll probably be better off tonight. Simple as that. Look to connect on every play you attempt. Don't look to flail your arms and stuff like that, drawing fouls. I would stay upright. Wouldn't flop as much tonight on either side. I really wouldn't. Because I just saw too many opportunities for both teams throughout these series trying to draw fouls, trying to put themselves in position to get the whistle. And instead, they find themselves out of position defensively, or find themselves not trying to connect on shots that they should be trying to make, as opposed to just driving at the rim and then hoping somebody calls a whistle or something. That stuff, stay disciplined on your defense tonight, fellas. I'm telling you. It's the gut feeling that I have that the officials are going to punish those who flop all over the place tonight. It's got a weird feeling. But, it's Boston, man. Draymond's going to get a lot of hell. That Golden State team is not welcome at all there. We know that. And, it's going to be a hellfight atmosphere, man. Boston's going to be at their worst tonight. They don't want to lose a championship. They're hungry. They haven't won since 2008. And this is a situation where they really believe as a fan base that this should be number 18 for them. They don't think they should be going home tonight. They've watched Lucky in winning these situations, and so I'm sure they're very confident. And look, this is the reality of the situation. The Golden State Warriors have played with their food. As we said, they do not necessarily close teams out the way they're supposed to this season. We also know that Steph Curry is playing some of the best basketball of his life right now. Best finals he's ever played in. But he did come off a game where he did not shoot very well. Those shots were short. You look back and look at the tape, it wasn't a whole lot that the defense was doing to keep him from getting those shots off. They got off. They were short. Steph Curry's been playing some live action defense, kicking his legs, sliding with people all series long, crashing the boards. Steph Curry's legs are tired. Now, he could have had the rest he needed between the last game and this game, but what I'm telling you is this is an older guy, and his legs are tired. So, if them shots start going short early, those same long distance shots that he was shooting in Game 5, if they start clanking the same way they did, this is going to be a situation where I honestly think Steph Curry is just going to have to abandon the three-point shot, or at least the long distance three-point shot that he loves taking from 40 feet. Because if he continues to shoot it short, those are possessions that are going to go to the Boston Celtics. And I think they're going to be much more aggressive driving at the paint tonight. They're going to be much more aggressive drawing fouls tonight. And if the Boston Celtics can take advantage of a backpedaling Golden State Warrior team somehow, put the pressure on them with Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum driving at the rim, and not turn the ball over, I think that's a recipe for success for the Golden State Warriors, especially if that three ball isn't falling from Steph Curry. His legs, we're paying attention to those tonight, and we're definitely paying attention to him if there's a Game 7, because I'm telling you, I'm sensing it. Those legs are tired. So, Jordan Poole, that means you got to step up because you've been sitting a lot, so you do not have tired legs. I'm expecting you to make up for that. Your mechanics should not waver just because it's a crazy... See, that's the thing about players like Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry, because this applies to all three of them. I don't care what gym you're in. It doesn't matter what gym you're in. I don't even care if the rim's a foot higher. With the talent that they got, they should be able to score. They should be able to drain threes. And I say that in regards to Jordan Poole because with him, his mechanics are so elite, just naturally. He's an elite shooter that he should be able to get his shot off and be very aggressive tonight on a closeout game and maybe even be the leading scorer for his team. Because they're going to be paying attention to Klay Thompson. They're going to be paying attention to Klay Thompson. And if they got any sense, they're going to pay attention to Andrew Wiggins as well. Because they didn't defend him in the last game and he burned him. After him burning him in the last game, I don't think Ime Udoka is going to let Wiggins kill him 3 games in a row. So they're going to pay attention to Wiggins too. They're going to pay attention to Wiggins. They're going to pay attention to Klay. And if Steph's shot and his legs are still the way they were in Game 5, which I'd imagine after one of the longest flights the NBA has to offer, it could very well still be that kind of thing for him, then we're looking at Jordan Poole, who's going to need to score the ball tonight. That's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at. Now, that's a lot of things that got to fall into place for the Boston Celtics. It ain't no guarantee Steph Curry doesn't go off for 10 threes tonight. He probably does, to be completely honest with you. But older guy, fatigue legs, short shots. Only 2 days ago. That's not a lot of rest either. Couple that with the long flight already. So, yeah, Steph Curry, I think it's reasonable to believe that he might actually struggle tonight shooting the ball. It's reasonable to think he might. It's also reasonable to think that they are in a dangerous position and not know how to guard him because of it. That drop coverage, they've done a good job with it. But he still busted up their defense ultimately and has 3 wins in this series. So whatever it is, you look at it, how they defended Steph Curry, at the end of the day, he's up 3-2. So I don't know. It's all looking bad. It's like I said, they got the guess right. They have to guess right, and in-game adjustments for Ime Udoka is going to be the savior of his season if he's able to identify what's happening and stop it right away. That's the kind of thing. Like, if you find that Klay Thompson's hot, then you got to just shift your entire defense to stop him. If you find that Steph Curry's hitting 5-6 threes in a row, then you just got to, you know what I mean? That's the problem that the Golden State Warriors provide the Celtics. They have so many different ways that they can attack them, and thus far through 5 games, they've beat them in different kinds of ways. So it's like when you get to a Game 6 and you look at all the data that you've been shown, now it's like, okay, which way are they going to attack us this way? Who's going to be the guy now? Like, that's what the problem is for the Boston Celtics. And the Warriors don't have that problem when they address what they have to strategize, because the Celtics are only using, again, 8 guys. So that's the problem. That is the problem. Big game from Jason Tatum is necessary. If he can go for 30 and 10, 7, 2 or something like that, that's the type of number he needs tonight. A lot of people are ready to take him out of the superstar category. They flip-flop so fast with this guy. One day he's a superstar, the next day he's not. I'll admit I've been a little bit of a flip-flopper with him as well, but that's how inconsistent he's been. One game he shows you he's the greatest player. The next game he shows you he's just a guy. I don't know what to think of Jason Tatum, but I know this. If he's just a guy tonight, they're going to be just gone. Simple as that. So he needs to step his game up, get out of his head, live in the moment. You're in the finals. You may never come back here, and that goes for everybody who plays tonight. If y'all don't show up and show out and leave it all on the court, you may regret it for the rest of your entire careers. So, in my opinion, that is what everybody should be doing tonight. Ball out, leave it all on the court, overcome your jitters and your fears for the nature of the moment, because you may not return. So, beat your fears and win the game. Both teams. I'm not rooting against anybody necessarily as it pertains to the men, because I think they're all worthy of being here. These teams are great. They've given us a phenomenal playoffs, all playoffs long, both of them. And now that we're at the end here, or possibly the end, I can just honestly say I'm very pleased with these playoffs. The NBA did a great job. But here we are, Game 6 in the NBA Finals. Lucky. I'm a Laker fan. You guys know this. I respect the Celtics of 2022 more than any Celtic team I've ever been allowed to see, including KG. Sorry, I just love these guys. But they're still Celtics. And this is bigger than basketball in a way. I'm a Laker fan who loves his team, who's rooted for his team his whole life, who's rooted against the Celtics his whole life, and is not going to stop doing that just because I have an objective goal on this channel. So you best believe I'm rooting against the Celtics. I'm always rooting against the Celtics, no matter who they're playing against, just like I'm always rooting against the Clippers, no matter who they're playing against, unless it's the Celtics. So when we're clear of that, we understand that I'm my way. But at the end of the day, these guys deserve every bit of success and the appreciation that they're getting from around the country. These are two teams that have battled, have shown heart, have overcome adversity, played hard, represented themselves the right way. And coaches that deserve to be here as well. You know, Ime Udoka, rookie coach, fantastic adjustment coach, great defensive coach. Steve Kerr, NBA champion, Hall of Famer, more rings than I can count in my head right now. And stands for the right things every time he opens his mouth. So I got a lot of love there, man. I just want to let everybody know, as a Laker fan, thank you guys for giving us a good playoffs. And that's what I have to say for this particular video, man. Of course, I'm going to get back to you guys at the end of this game and, of course, at halftime. And if I'm making a prediction, I'm not going to flip-flop. Boston's going to win this game, and the Golden State Warriors are going to win in 7 at home. That's my prediction. I have plenty of evidence against that, but going against myself has not worked for me. It just hasn't. So I'm sticking with it, and that's what we'll say. So, BDF44, I thank y'all for watching.